Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fusion. Today we'll be discussing how to animate something, because the typical way I used to animate something was very long and arduous and not really efficient. So today we're going to talk about motion paths and how to use them. So let's do this without further ado. Let's drag Fusion composition onto an edit page, close effect and go to the Fusion. We are going to use a very small b for this type of tutorial, because DaVinci Blackmagic itself, they're using just small b for this tutorial. I'm going to use this as well. So we are going to start actually not with the b but with the background, because we need something pretty behind that b. Let's create a background. Let's go to gradient and choose some pretty colors, for example deep blue, and on the other side of the spectrum is deep red, something like this. So now we can connect our media in, which is a picture of a bee, to our background. And we have a giant bee without wings on a blue to red graded background. Great. But now we need to animate this. There are several ways how you can do that. And the first one, which is the least of, the least efficient, is to add a transform node and to use, first of all, let's make it smaller, and we can use these like center parameters to animate that. You can drag your playhead at the beginning and press this diamond, and now you can use this to animate your bee. For example, frame 9, I want it to go to this position, and at frame 23 I want to go to this position, but this is very long process and not really efficient and not pleasant at all. Also, you're gonna need to animate this angle, so our B is gonna go along our line, which is not what I want really to do. The other way how you can do that is to right click in here and press path. This way these keyframes will be created automatically. For example, I created this path at frame 23, I moved this playhead to frame 32, and then I move RB to frame 32 to some new position, and the keyframe is going to be created automatically, which is not an efficient way either. So how are we going to create our animation? Well, there is an easier way how to do that. First of all, we're going to drag this polygon in here. I'm going to press 1 to view it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a path. I'm not going to do a really good job because I do not care. This is just for demonstration. I'm going to create the path, and once I'm done, I do not really want to close it. I want to leave an open path. So I'm going to click this button, which is called Insert and Modify. But this path creates an automatic, like pre-animated automatic animation, which I do not need. I right click in here, remove polygon 1. Then right click again in here and click Publish. Why do I do that? Because I need to use this path to animate my bee. That's why I need to publish it before I can use that. So let's go to transform node, and I need to use a modifier in here, but I cannot, because I need to press on this center, right click in this center and click path. Now I have access to modifiers, and as you can see, our path 1 that I drew just a couple of seconds before is available here. Displacement is already keyframed, which is not what I want, so I disable it. Right click here for shape animation. Right click here, connect to polygon 1 polyline value. Now our B is connected to the path that we created. But first of all, the path is kind of small and the B is kind of large. And second of all, I want my B to follow head first our path. That's what we're going to do. Let's go to the path 1 again, and using displacement we can animate our B, but we need to use size in order to change the size of our line, of our polyline. Something like this. Now let's go to the first frame, click this diamond, let's go to frame like 45, and let's drag it towards the end. Now from the first frame to the frame 45, our B is going to follow the path, but it's not going to follow it head first, which is what I want. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to the transform node again in tools, and for our head first, for this motion, angle is responsible. So I'm going to right click the angle, connect to path 1, and displacement or heading. We need heading. So I'm going to connect it to heading. And if you can see in here, our B is going to follow not head first our path, but butt first. We need to change that. We're gonna go to modifiers again, and there is this heading offset. Going to turn this heading offset the way we want it. And now our B is going to follow it head first. But first I need to make our B smaller. Yeah. Displacement, something like this. And now, if we view it like this, our B is going to follow our path head first. Oops, attempting to, I'm sorry, this is not what I wanted. Yeah. Now our B is following our path the way it's supposed to. But it is a constant speed, which is not what I really like. So I'm going to open a spline editor. I'm going to enable displacement. Click Ctrl F to fit to zoom, zoom to fit, zoom to fit. I guess it is called zoom to fit. Yeah. And right in here, I can create additional points to make some portions of the video clip go faster and some portions go smaller. So for example, I want this fall to happen quickly, and then right in here I want our B to slow down. So let's go to this position and create a keyframe in here. Now with I'm going to hold Shift, and so it's going to remain at the same value. That's why I'm holding Shift. I'm going to hold Shift and move it to the left. Now it's going to move vertically. Come on. I'm gonna move this. Yeah, select our point, hold Shift, and move it to the left. Now this sector is going to happen much quicker, but I want this one to happen much slower. So I'm going to go to this portion, click in here to create a button, to create a keyframe. And holding Shift, I'm going to move it to the right. Okay, so now our B is falling really quickly and rising slower, which is kind of what I wanted. I'm going to select all of the keyframes and click Shift S to smooth them to make it a little bit smoother. So you can, now it's like it is an alive B. It is moving slower, faster. It is kind of interesting animation. You can fine tune everything in here, the speed of the motion. And here is your animation, which was created much quicker, much easier than compared to what I was using before, like switching X value and Y value, which is not really an efficient way to do that. But I also want our B to follow a second path. If you ever witnessed how a bee flies, it typically flies like in a random pattern and moving along the way as well. So I want it to fly something like this and also along the way. I can do that. I can create two paths. So let's do that. Let's delete this polygon, add a new transform, starting from beginning, make it smaller, and let's create two paths this time. The first one is going to be like an 8. I'm going to show you. Polygon 1, press 1 to view it in the left-hand viewer, and creating an 8. So our B is going to follow something like this. I'm going to select everything and Shift S to smooth it. Now, what I need to do is to remove an auto animation, remove polygon, and I need to publish it. Then I'm going to drag a second polygon and create a path that will be followed by our B. It is going to follow again something like this. I'm going to select everything and press Shift S to smooth it. Again, we need to remove polygon and we need to publish it. Great. Now we're gonna go to the transform and we need to, as before, right click on the center and press path. Now these modifiers are available to us once again. Path 1 is for our chaotic motion, like 8. We need to disable displacement and click in here, connect to polyline 1 value. Now our B is going to follow like a path of 8, but it is not animated yet. We'll animate it later. Now select path 1 again and right click on the center and select path. This way we are telling that the path itself has to follow another path. So this is path number 2, which we disable displacement and connect to polygon to polyline value. So now it is going to follow 2 paths. So let's refine them. First of all, path number 2 size increase. Path number 1 size probably something like this. Yeah. We are going to decrease it. And now let's animate. For path number 1, this is quite easy. We need to click this diamond on the frame number 1, move it to the frame 20. No, to the frame 10. Every 10 frames it's going to make that 8. And move this displacement. That's it for path number 1. Now for path number 2, we need to animate that as well. Frame number 1, press diamond and go to something like frame number 70 and complete this displacement. Now what is going to happen? It is going to move along this line, but it's going to complete only one animation of this 8, which is kind of expected. We need to make it a loop. We need to make it so the B would complete this animation once again and again and again. We go into the splines and this is path number 1. So we're going to select center path number 1. We're going to disable displacement for everything else. We only need path number 1. So this is path number 1. I'm going to select everything, Control A, and I'm going to make it loop, something like this. Now our B is going to be a bit crazy because it is going to follow that 8 every 10 frames. Yeah, as you can see, it is pretty chaotic. Yeah, but this B is not following head first as before, so we're gonna go to the transform. We're gonna find angle and we're gonna right click, connect to path 2, adding, and we're probably gonna need to use displacement again. Yeah, modifiers, path 2, heading offset, and we're going to do, where are you headed right now? Little b, where are you going? Yeah, heading offset, something like that. No, yeah, probably something like that. Let's view it. Now our B is flying like freaking crazy. So this way we've created an animation within an animation, which would take enormous amount of time, and I do not really think that it is doable if you're decided to do it like within this transform node. and simply just animating center X and angle and size, it is going to be a freaking nightmare. But just drawing two paths, we just animated it really easily. And if we go in here and view our animation, you can animate anything pretty much this way. You can change, instead of a B, you can use a text or a single letter and animate like your intro or something like that. So this is all probably about polygons and how to animate them. So I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.